Thanks for joining everyone. Today's host is Coach Sanjay sir. We feel very happy and delight to see him as a host. We are here to listen, speaking impromptu. So without plan or spontaneously, how we can speak. We are going to learn many tips or we are going to listen his experiences in that particular topic. So feel very happy, sir. And please help me all to invite him as a guest for today's meeting. Thank you by putting your hands together. Please give a big round of applause to invite him as a host. So thank you, sir, and over to you.
A quick disclaimer before I start. The session today is going to be impromptu in the sense that I haven't prepared. It's going to be interesting, right? We are going to talk about speaking impromptu and the speaker himself is going to speak impromptu. Well, it's absolutely fascinating and double the excitement because it always is exciting. It always gets on our nerves when we really want to speak impromptu. We land ourselves into impromptu situations every day, almost in every situation. Not always do we have the luxury of time to tell people that give me some time, I will prepare, I will come back and I will speak to you. And I think that's the essence of impromptu situation in our daily speaking. We don't really have the luxury of time, the luxury to be able to prepare, to really rehearse and then come and speak. It's an interview. While you will prepare, you will anticipate certain questions. You really have no idea what's going to be asked. All of you as teachers, all of us as trainers, coaches, we really have no idea what sort of questions might come up. While as individuals, we will still try and anticipate. We will still assume or predict what sort of questions will come up. I can't really say right now what the discussion is going to be here. I can't really be certain of the fact that these are the queries I'm going to have. And it's going to be impromptu in that sense. So every situation that we are in, every time we meet new people, I think it's an impromptu situation. We don't prepare. They ask what you do for a living, what your hobbies are, so on and so forth. And I think all of those elements are impromptu. And it's extremely important for all of us as humans to be able to address or to be able to tackle impromptu situations. Let's look at what could be some of the techniques or what are some of the skills that are required for us to be speaking well in an impromptu situation. Start off with, I'll be talking about 4 words. The first one is going to be listening. I'm sure all of us as speakers, all of us as teachers, as communicators, understand the importance of listening well. And I did mention when I was talking about CRPF that we listen to the entire world. How about listening to your own self? Do you listen to your own self? Now, the whole concept of listening in an impromptu situation is it helps you stay within the context. It helps you understand what the point of discussion is, rather than not focusing on the content or the context and then jumping in between and saying, I'm sorry, I didn't get what you have to say. Could you repeat again? Or can you help me with what the context is? It's always better if we listen for multiple reasons. More often than not, we realize that an impromptu situation arises out of a question. The moment someone asks a question, we have to give an answer. And that's the impromptu situation. So the simple listening could be number 1, listening to the question well, listening to the conversation. If it's a group of people, if there's a discussion going on, are we listening well? At the moment we listen well, we are in the context of what's happening and we know what's really going to happen. That's going to be the first important thing we need to be cautious about or we need to be careful about. And it goes without saying that listening is not an activity that we can do like sleeping. You can't say that I will listen only for 8 hours a day like you sleep for 8 hours a day. We have to listen at every point in our time. And that helps us in all impromptu situations. The second element or the second key aspect to impromptu speaking, I think, is thinking. We heard about listening, now thinking. Imagine you've landed yourself in an impromptu situation. Someone asks you a question. Great, you've listened well, you've understood what is really going on. Now it's time for you to think. You start thinking on what will I respond? What are the points that I want to speak? And all of you will remember when I was talking about CRPF, I said, when we think, when we are trying to process, that's when we have these fillers. That's when a lot of things go haywire. We fear or we dread or we fail at impromptu situations because our nervousness increases. The moment we start to think, we realize that there's this sort of a sound. And all of a sudden our confidence goes for a toss. So it's important that we understand that thinking is an integral part of speaking impromptu, and it's perfectly all right to take those few seconds to think. The moment someone asks you a question, it's not a computer, right? Right now, if I go back and if I press the mute button, I'll be muted in a matter of no time. We are not computers. We can take 5 to 10 seconds to think. It's not the fastest finger first in Kaun Banega Crorepati. You have the time of 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds to think and then to answer. So thinking well, and when I say thinking, we'll address when we can think. How many of you think that we can think or prepare for an impromptu situation in advance? Is it possible? Preparing for an impromptu situation in advance?
No, not at all.
Not possible.
Okay, I beg to differ with all of you. I think it is possible to a certain extent. And I'm not saying you prepare for an impromptu situation, but there are certain things that we could do that will help us face these situations better. Let's look at that. Let's park this for later. Let's finish the 4 levers and then go and talk about how to prepare for an impromptu situation and what are things we can do as such to enable us to help us speak better in impromptu situations. We heard about thinking. I think now again, assuming you've listened well, you've thought well, I think the third important element is going to be organizing your thoughts. At this point, we have a lot of thoughts. I've listened to the content, I've listened to the topic, I've thought about it, but I have way too many thoughts to be speaking. How do I organize them? And yes, I'm sure all of us are aware of the basic structure of a speech. We need to have an opening, a body, a conclusion. Well, if that seems difficult or if that seems a little challenging to start with, there could be other ways for us to organize our thoughts. I'd like to suggest one approach. You may want to write it down if you find this interesting. It's in an impromptu situation specifically. If you're stuck with a lot of thoughts, how to organize them could be by following something called a 3T technique. When I say a 3T technique, these are 3 simple sentences or simple phrases. The first T is tell them what you're going to tell them. The second T is tell them. And the third T is tell them what you have just told them. Like I started in the beginning, I told all of you that today we are going to discuss about speaking impromptu, certain tips and techniques. So that is the first T. I was telling you what I'm going to tell you in some time. So tell your audience or tell them what you're going to tell them. The second T is actually tell them. Just go ahead and tell them the content that you have. The third T is tell them what you have just told them. I think in impromptu situations where we are not really confident how to organize our thoughts, what to speak, what not to speak, the 3T technique might work well. Now the first T and the third T are easy. The second T is I think where the challenge lies. The content, what to speak, what not. And that's when I always suggest that we think and we pass it through a test. Is this relevant? Will this really help? Is this relevant to the content, to the question that is being asked, to the topic that is being given to me? Pick the most relatable example and then go ahead and speak. I know we may have a lot of thoughts, we may have a lot of opinions to share, but pick the ones that you think as an individual are most relevant. That's going to be the organizing part of it. We will talk more. I'll not really stop after talking the 4 aspects. We will discuss a little more. We'll pick up scenarios and see what we can do in different impromptu situations. But the organizing part is taken care of. Now the 4th important thing. We've listened, we've thought, we've organized. Now about delivery. We need to deliver whatever we've thought and we've organized. When I say delivery, it's about the way you say it. It's about how you structure, whether you're pausing enough, whether you're taking enough time, all the aspects of body language, voice modulation, so on and so forth. We'll not get into the details because those are stories for a different day altogether. But the concepts of listening, thinking, organizing, and delivering, I think are key or essential to be able to speak well in any given impromptu situation. Sounds fair? Yes. Do we have any questions at this point in time?
Yes, certainly. I do have a question, sir. So actually, we don't know the situation which we are about to face. Of course, it may be promptu or impromptu. So if it is impromptu, even we may tell them in the second form, and we may retell them again what we have told. But all these things are quite well. But we can't assume what the situation, how the situation may be. So first of all, before that, how can we organize our thoughts in a manner that to deliver?
Yes. How do you organize our thoughts? And let's look at a scenario. So what sort of a scenario would you like to talk about, sir? When you say you're not prepared or when you don't know, it's about giving a topic. Shall I give you
certainly.
a topic right now?
Actually, certainly. Okay. It's up to you. If you can give me, I'll do something. If you want me, I will tell you something.
You can share your experience. I'd love to hear from you.
I'm on a bike to my way to school. Suddenly people have gathered there. So a man appeared. So I can understand him that he's in a gloomy mood, but I don't know the reason. So in that particular scenario, how can I proceed with him? Just I have to ask him a question. I have to understand the situation. Then I have to proceed. But before meeting a person, we cannot organize our thoughts how to talk to him.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's called impromptu, where you don't have the time to organize your thoughts. You don't really have...
That's why I'm asking you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, so there's no way you can organize your thoughts in advance. When I say you can think in advance, I will come to what I really mean. But as far as organizing, right now, for example, I didn't know what Surya Narayan sir was going to ask me. It was impromptu for me. I didn't anticipate the scenario he would give. Now, I thought and I organized after he did. So it is okay. Like I said, you can only react or you can only respond after you heard what it is. So it's definitely not possible in a way to prepare in advance as to what you will speak. But there's a way you can prepare on thoughts, what topics to pick from, what you can really talk about. Yes. Any other questions, please, before we move further?
Nowadays, the multinational companies are choosing the people instead of taking interview. They are conducting a small test. But nowadays, and we can, that term is very popular nowadays. It's a jam. So just a minute. So, does it come under this impromptu?
100%. I think the jam sessions are the greatest example you can find of an impromptu situation. What really happens, you don't know what the topic is going to be. You have only 1 minute to speak. You don't have the time to think. And when you have to speak for 1 minute, you can't take 30 seconds to think. You can't take 1 minute itself to think. They will say you have only 1 minute to speak. At max, you can take 5-10 seconds to think. And I think that's a very important thing to do for individuals to be able to tackle a jam situation, to be able to tackle an impromptu situation where a topic is thrown and you have to speak on the spot. It definitely is an impromptu situation.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Do we have any more questions before we move further? If not, I'd like to recap what we just discussed. We discussed listening, thinking, organizing, delivering. Now let's look at how we can really do all of these elements. How we can practice or how we can really prepare ourselves in advance for each one of the things. Listening, needless to say, we need to listen to everything that happens. We need to observe everything at every point of time in our lives. Now I'll tell you why listening and observing goes a long way. Not only in the situation, for each one of us who listen and observe in situations outside, in everything, we have more content. Right now, if I were to ask all of you to share at least one experience from your childhood, I'm sure you would do that. If I would ask each one of you to share 10 experiences of your childhood, I'm sure all of you would be able to do that. Even if I ask each one of you to share 100 experiences from your childhood, you would still be able to do that, provided I give you a certain time. I say, take a couple of hours, write down 100 experiences that you remember as a child. It could be the first time you cycled, the first time you went to school, the first day you went to school, you met new people, so on and so forth. The list could be endless. Each one of you will write a lot of things. And I think as humans, we have this natural ability to observe things. And that's why we remember a lot of these things. The moment I say a particular topic or the moment I share something, there is something we can connect to. There is something or the other we will be able to relate to instantly. Now, when I say instantly, it could be a few seconds or it could be less than a few seconds. The idea is the stories, everything that happens in our life is where the stories come from. We don't really have to go and read hundreds of novels or thousands of books to get content. In each one of your life, you have the stories. Through your childhood, through your schooling, your college, your work, what you're doing today as a part of your profession. If not in your life, your family. It could be your kids, your parents, your sister, your brother, your relatives. They must have gone through something. If not your relatives, maybe your friends, the close friends you know may have gone through something. If not friends, someone from this group, someone whom you know. If not these, you may have watched a movie, you may have read a book, you may have read a newspaper article. The idea is everything is within the universe. It is not something where you have to sit, meditate, and get from outside the world. It is all existent, it is all right here. So the ability of listening, or the power of listening and observing every single action, everything that happens in our life goes a long way. I'll share a small incident. I remember, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but one of my hobbies is riding, bike riding. I am an avid bike rider. I do a lot of long road trips and all of those. Before I started doing these road trips, I was not really able to come up with a lot of examples to illustrate to people, a lot of examples or scenarios to give people to explain a particular concept. And that's where it became very challenging to me. I realized the moment I started riding, the moment I started spending time on my bike alone with nature on the highway, traveling to different places, I discovered a lot more about nature. I discovered a lot more about what I as an individual can do. Today, I can come up with examples of the road, examples of traveling, examples of navigation at any point in time. Now, did I read a book? Did I do any sort of a PhD or a theory in terms of studying all of these? No, it's just the experience. So as individuals, what is the experience that you have? And I think that is the most important thing in an impromptu situation. When I say in a just a minute session in the interview or in an impromptu situation right now, then what are your thoughts on honesty is the best policy? It doesn't matter if each one of us have different stories. All of us will have our own stories. It depends on how strongly we remember it and with how much conviction we are able to deliver it. Your story is going to remain with you. I can't expect you to share an example that I have. And neither can you expect me to share an example of honesty is the best policy, old is gold, it's better to be safe than to be sorry. There could be multiple scenarios in a just a minute session when I ask a question that what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency, for example. Now, it's only about your observation. It's only about how much you know about cryptocurrency. And there is a thin line. At times, when you don't know what the topic means, the subject is different. We'll address that later. When you don't know the topic, let's keep it aside. But you know the topic, you've at least heard something about it. Can you not relate it to something that has happened in your life? Can you, in a way, link it to some sort of an incident that has happened with you, your friends, your family, your relatives, anyone in the world after all? And I think that's important. That's where the power of listening, power of observing comes into picture. When I said we can prepare for thinking, or when I said we can think in advance, it's only about these elements. How many of you think that a lot of stories or any topic that is thrown to you, you could probably talk about linking it with your children, linking it with your family, linking it with your students, linking it with your profession, your college life, your school life? We can do that. I, for an individual, believe, at least today, that you give me any topic, I can pick up one example from my college life, from my friends, from what I went through, something of the other sort. And maybe for some of you, it could be your pet. It could be your dog, how your dog teaches you honesty, loyalty, how a lot of other things. It could be your pet, it could be your family, friends, relatives. The idea is it's someone you know. It's always there. Are you actively listening? Are you actively observing everything that's happening? And that's the whole thought process of thinking before. Today, when I'm here at this situation, when I'm speaking to all of you, I don't have a script in front of me. My hands are free, there's nothing shared on my screen. Yet, I'm speaking only for one simple reason. There is a relatability factor. I've spoken about this topic at least 20-25 times so far, speaking impromptu, and I relate to the context of every time I've spoken, what people do understand. Now, when I look at speaking impromptu, what comes to my mind first is an interview. Second is small talk, when we meet new people, when we have to break the ice, when we have to talk with them. The third thing is a lot of contests, extempo speaking. The fourth thing could be jam sessions like Ram Babu sir mentioned. The idea is, I know all of this is related. There's no rocket science. If I were talking about nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, or about rocket science, how a rocket goes into space, how Bitcoin works, how cryptocurrency works, then I need research. Then I can't go off the cuff. The idea is most impromptu situations, they are not as difficult as they seem. When we look at it from the outside, it seems complex, it seems difficult, it seems daunting that I can't do this. Where will I get the content from? What will I pick up? What will I talk? But the moment you realize, for a moment you pause and you think that this is just within what happens in my daily life, you will quickly be able to pick an example. And that's exactly why I say you can think, you can prepare in advance. We'll discuss one more topic about how we can prepare in advance, but we'll come to it. Third concept about organizing again. Organizing, and it is not possible that you're a good person only from 9 to 5. Is it possible that you're a good person for 4 hours of the day and for the remaining 20 hours you're an evil person? Has it happened with anyone? I don't think so. We may behave in different ways. We may try and appear in different ways. We may approach different situations based on our mindset, but our personality doesn't change. The people we are doesn't change. Similarly, if you have to organize well, you have to organize well across. You can't say that I will organize well in an impromptu and I'll not organize well otherwise. Practice is going to be one key element to be able to organize well. When I say practice, I'm talking about something very mundane, something very fundamental. Have any of you ever tried practicing for one topic a day? One impromptu topic a day, speak for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Have you tried doing this every day? If not, there is a venue, there is a platform, there is a way each one of you as individuals can do this. I have personally started an initiative as a part of my Toastmasters journey around 2 years back. And even today, the WhatsApp group exists. We are at topic 565 or 570, if I remember it correctly. Now, I'm not expecting all the 200 members in the group to share 570 audio recordings or messages or their thoughts. If you do that even for 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 3 months or 6 months, it is going to make a difference. And the whole idea, the power of practice goes way beyond what we think. So organizing our thoughts, I think, is decluttering all the things that are unnecessary. We have a lot of thoughts and it becomes difficult to organize. But the moment you declutter, it becomes easier. We look at an example of how this can be done. We talk about delivery, I don't have to talk much. All of us do understand the concepts of speaking, the concepts of clarity, pronunciation, vocabulary, voice modulation, body language, so on and so forth. And my personal suggestion to everyone who wants to improve on impromptu speaking is, number one, do not fill your plate with everything. Start off with the starter, have the main course, then probably have rice, whatever you wish to, then finish with dessert. If you add everything together, I don't think it'll be a good thing for you. So focus on the content to start with. Don't worry about the delivery. Don't worry about whether your voice modulation is great, not so great, whether your hands are here, folded, kept at the back, this way. Don't really worry about all of that. When we are saying impromptu, first, I'll split it into 2 parts. Let's focus on improving our content. Then the second part is going to be the delivery. When I say focusing on the content, it's purely about thinking and organizing your thoughts well. It's about giving your thoughts a structure and being able to speak in a clear manner. When I say clear, it's about clarity of thoughts. Let's look at different scenarios at what really goes wrong, how we can work on it. Okay, yes, nothing went wrong. I thought Zoom had just closed. Let's look at different scenarios and what we can really do. I'll share one experience that a lot of people must have gone through. Number one is, whenever a topic, a question is asked, I know what I have to speak. The points are all right here, but I'm not able to speak. I've thought about it, I've organized it in my mind, but I'm not able to put it in the form of words. I'm struggling to speak, I'm scared. Does it happen? Yes, I think it does happen with a lot of us. And I'll tell you where. The whole thought of fear, or the concept of fear, comes and bogs our mind. I will not be able to speak well, I will not be able to go ahead and do this. What I would suggest is pause, take a deep breath, and remember what you have to speak. The idea is, if you let nervousness get the better of you, it's going to be a disaster. If you let your confidence fall, then it is definitely not going to work, for a simple reason that no matter what sort of good thoughts you have, no matter what sort of brilliant ideas you wish to share, the fear will never let you do that. That's number one. Number two, when you've thought about it, keep it extremely simple. Keep it pointed to what you have to share. Don't really think about being fancy. And this is when you start off. Today, if you're given an impromptu situation, the topic is honesty is the best policy. Share something as simple as, I strongly believe that honesty is the best policy because I have had an experience in my life where I was honest and it paid off. I could have lied, but I did not lie. I chose to be true because I thought it's always good to be honest. And it did pay off. I have also learned from my parents that being honest helps you go a long way in any organization. Honesty is the best policy. Now, what did I do here? Did I add fancy words? Did I put it in a fancy structure? Not at all. I just did something very simple. And that's where a lot of people call this the prep technique, where they say you make a point, you give a reason, you give an example, and then you repeat the point again. What is the point? I think honesty is the best policy. Reason is because I have experienced this. Example, when I was working for this particular company, I was honest to my colleagues, to my manager, and this is how it paid off. And in the end, come back to the point that I think honesty is the best policy. Now, it's as simple as adding one point after the other in speaking. And I would also suggest one more thing. Today, if you're struggling to really speak impromptu, number one, pick up a topic every day and don't speak impromptu. Prepare for the topic and speak. Pick up a topic, say old is gold for today. If you're not able to speak off the cuff, take your time, look up a story, think of a story, write it down, and then speak. By doing this every day will get you in the thought process of picking those stories, will get you in the thought process of how to stay focused on what you wish to speak. And this is what I would like to throw to all of you. We have the entire universe, right? Now, if I have to say that the universe is this big, imagine the size of my screen, then we have the choice. The first choice we have is I can pick one topic from here, anywhere, right? It's possible. This is the entire universe. Second, the moment I'm given a topic, can I eliminate the rest of the universe and draw a smaller circle or a box inside? This is the topic or this is the scope of discussion. Can we do that? The moment I say that if I ask you a question, saying, what do you do for work? Can you eliminate all of the other things from the universe and only focus on the work? So in a way, you're eliminating all of the other things and drawing a smaller circle. If I have to say that the universe is a bigger circle, you've drawn a smaller circle. Now, the moment I say talk about your work, you may have worked for multiple organizations. You may want to talk about all of them or one of them or go in a manner. Now that becomes even narrower. You're not talking about everything about your work. Are you giving an overview? Are you sharing one of your best examples? The idea is to draw as many smaller circles as possible. This is the universe. This is the topic. In the topic, or if it's honesty is the best policy, there are 2 points of view. Yes, it is, or no, it is not. Decide one, and that becomes the other circle. You eliminate the rest part of it. When you say yes, why do you think it's yes? Go to another circle. So the idea is to eliminate all of the clutter from your mind and focus on what you want to share. Come up with the reason, come up with the example, finish and leave. I think that's how we start preparing for impromptu situations. And that really helps. That gets us in the thought process of making a point, giving a reason, if possible, share an example, and then get back to your point again. Or tell them what you want to tell them. And you do all of this after you listen. You can't do this before. You can do the thinking part before in terms of observing carefully, in terms of knowing that these are the experiences and this is what I really prefer. But you have to do the entire organization bit as you go along. Make sense? Do we have any questions here before I move further?
Yeah, I would like to ask a question, sir, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yes. So, is it possible to click on our selected topic to put all other things aside? See, for example, if I am the host for today's meeting, and already I may select the topic, and I may take good practice for it. But while delivering it, different other than these, all the thoughts wander in my mind. So how we may control it is a common problem for everyone.
It is. It happens with us. So I'll tell you honestly, right now I'm talking here. If I look at the clock, it's 9:40. I'm wondering what I'm going to do at 10 p.m. I'm wondering what I'll be doing tomorrow morning. And then for the ones who had your dinner, you must be thinking that dinner was tasty. For the ones who are yet to have your dinner, what am I going to have for dinner? Do I have to go cook? Do I have to do the vessels? Obviously, now it's not at all possible for us to get rid of our thoughts. And I, for a person, believe that at any given point in time, there are millions of thoughts. What you can do is just push it on the back seat. It's like you're driving a car. Don't really let it occupy the co-driver's seat. Push it at the back seat and then let it be at the subconscious. Don't really let it eat your mind space when you're talking. Let me share an example. Not sure if that relates absolutely, but that's where I told you about the road. All of us travel, right? We travel from one place to another. Imagine you're driving on your own and then you're not going by train, flight, but you start driving on your own. And you don't know the route. You're not familiar with how to go from city A to city B, or within a city from area 1 to area 2. A lot of us use Google Maps. Yeah, we use Google Maps. If we don't use Google Maps, we ask people, sir, I want to get to this place. Which direction should I take? Now, we keep driving. Suppose you've taken a wrong turn. Suppose instead of taking right, someone has accidentally told you take a left, you take a left. You go 5 kilometers further, 10 kilometers further, and you realize that you have gone in the wrong direction. What will you do, sir?
Yeah, immediately I'll turn back.
Turn. Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. You will take a U-turn, number one. Number two, you will ask people there that, is there any way I can get to the destination that I want to? They will say, don't take a U-turn. It's very long. You take a U-turn, you will go back 5-10 kilometers, do something, go straight, take a right, then take a left, that will connect you onto the highway and then you can go straight. Happens with a lot of us. The moment we lose track when we are traveling, they say that, you take this navigation. Now, will you ever compromise and say, no, it is okay. I have taken a left, I have gone 5-10 kilometers. Instead of going, say, to Hyderabad, today I will go to Chennai. Will you do that? You'll never do that, right? Will you ever compromise on the destination? You never do. None of us do.
Yes.
If we have to get to the city B, we will get to city B. There will be distractions on the way. We will take these wrong turns. Yet we will make that U-turn to go back. I suggest we do that while speaking. It's okay. It's okay at times if your thoughts wander and if you talk something that is not related. But the moment you realize that I think I have taken the wrong turn, I should have gone right, but I have gone left. You will take a U-turn, make that U-turn while speaking. The best is to admit that, oh, sorry, getting back to the topic, or I didn't mean to deviate. Rather than deviating completely for 20 minutes in the end and saying, I'm sorry, I went totally off track. I think it's better to correct or take that U-turn right there. And that's what we do to our thoughts. Right now, I'll tell you something very fascinating. I can go on talking about Google Maps, roads for the next 10 minutes. I won't do that. As I go, I realize that enough I've done, let me take this turn and get back. So it's only about navigating yourself well. And then all of us who drive, whoever travel, we understand the concept of navigation. We need to do the same with our mind when we speak. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Nowadays, students are there. They can think better. They can understand the problems better. When they were given a chance to speak for 1 hour, 2 minutes, they cannot speak in a proper way. That means they cannot deliver the thoughts in an organized way. Just they delay their line. I think you got me very well. In a procrastinating way, they speak. Just like that, I saw the snake. Like that, they speak. So, what kind of the steps do you want them to follow to improve their way of delivery?
Yeah. So I think, sir, the problem that we are looking at here is very different. And I do understand where this is coming from. I have cousins, cousins who are in the similar state. You ask, they know everything. The moment you ask them to speak, they will run away. They will just be shy. They don't want to speak. And if you force them to speak, it will go in this manner. And I think I want to share a story. I'm sorry. And that's how they'll eventually go away. What I think is the problem, not impromptu speaking. The problem is fear. The problem is nervousness. The problem is lack of confidence or the fear of being judged. So before I even talk about speaking impromptu and the other tips and techniques, I think it's more about understanding why as an individual or why majority of the students do not come forward to speak. Are they scared of, say, language? Are they scared of being judged by their classmates if they don't speak well? Do they think that, do they have this sort of an inferiority complex that whatever I speak may not be understood well? I think that is going to be the first thing. So I would take, definitely, if I were to address a group of students like this, I would take extra time or additional time firstly to understand as to where the problem is, where they are really going wrong. And it's natural. If you ask me how I was when I was back in school, at times I would have spoken. I would have raised my hand and said, yes, I'll be the first person to speak. At times I would not like it. There may be some reasons why there is. So I would try and understand, identify those reasons, and then address it. So if it's a simple thing like nervousness, I think it stems out of failures from our childhood. It stems out of some experiences that we are not really happy with. A lot of us who have stage fear, I think, is maybe due to a simple fact that we've never really hit the stage when we were young. When we were kids, we never really stood on stage. Or maybe we went up stage, we spoke, but someone laughed. The entire audience laughed because we forgot. You're standing on stage with your hands tied like an obedient student, you're speaking, you forget something and your friends start teasing you that you forgot. And I think this sort of a fear gets into your mind. So I think addressing that part first and then asking them to follow all of the impromptu speaking techniques, the speaking techniques will help, sir. I hope that answers to a certain extent.
Yeah, thank you. It's really fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Suresh, sir.
Sanjay, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, here you have mentioned one point. So if we want to give our presentation, so you asked us to pick a topic and prepare and speak. So, and in second stage, we can take the topic and we can speak impromptu speaking. So my question is, why don't we start with the impromptu speaking directly? Because even I have a live example. That's my wife, even I. So earlier, I used to give her topics, daily one topic, even I am also giving. So she used to prepare on the particular topic and she used to come up with her end or outcome. But she used to spend more than 2 hours or 1 hour or 3 hours on the particular topic to give her presentation. So, and you also mentioned some points like it might be fear, it might be language issue, whatever it may be. But the concept is there in her mind in my vernacular language. But whenever she is going to write down and she is going to express that, she used to waste her time. So I suggested her that don't do this. Whatever the things are there in your mind, try to deliver them. And she started speaking. Now, even if I call her and I give any topic and she's ready to speak. So that is what a practice she has been doing. So can't it be helpful to have this kind of directly speaking without having a prepared one and habituated towards again jumping to the another impromptu speaking? Why don't we practice direct impromptu speaking?
100%, sir. I am a firm believer of the fact that we directly need to talk about impromptu speaking. But I'll tell you why I have been talking about practicing and speaking first. For the people who are extremely scared, for the people who are extremely terrified about this concept, the moment we say speak impromptu, they run away. They don't want to speak. So I think only to get them comfortable, to get them to start speaking, we give them the preparation time. So these are the balance wheels on the cycles, right? When we start learning as kids, we have balance wheels on either sides. Once we get comfortable, we take out one balance wheel. Then we take out the other. And then slowly, steadily, we start doing it. So it's only for those who require that support, who require the additional time to get there. Otherwise, impromptu speaking. And I'm saying this right now, everyone's here. If you want to practice impromptu speaking, if all of you think you want a topic a day, let me know. I have a group that's running. I can create a separate group. All of you can join there, or I don't know if it's permitted on the current group. I can share a topic every single day and you can share an audio recording there. Now, I as an individual may not be able to give feedback to 20, 30, 40 audio recordings that come in there. But we can look at each other's audio recordings, learn and understand. Once in a while, we can have a contest that we give a topic and everyone speaks on the topic. The whole idea is to practice, number one, and to practice consistently. I am perfectly okay with this. So the approach that you mentioned, I think that's the ideal approach, where you don't really, and it's said, right, when you throw people into the pool, they will learn how to swim. That's the absolute and right way of doing it. The idea of asking people to prepare is only for those ones who are not very comfortable.
Yes, sir. And my intention is, sir, actually we are the people are very sensitive, and if we are habituated to one thing, then we stick on that. We may not change our attitude. That is what. So, sir, if the speech is evaluated, definitely it would be helpful, sir. Because if I am speaking impromptu topic, anything. So if I am evaluated, definitely I can change my speaking. So this is what you are running a group. Even I have my own group. So in my own group also, like you, the people, they themselves give reflections. They themselves modify the language so that they can improve more. So this is what I have been noticing, sir. So it can also be helpful in my point of view. Yes.
100%.
Thank you, sir. Over.
Sir, you can give me any question. I would like to try improv speaking.
Okay, wonderful. Let's do that right now then.
Yeah.
Topic that I have for you is prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than
Sure.
cure.
Yeah. So the question is prevention is better than cure. I totally agree with this philosophy that prevention is better than cure. In life, whatever we are doing, we should be careful. Even if you are simple thing, cooking also, we should be careful. So we might not get burnt, or the food might not get burnt. Food should be tasty. So anything in life, whatever we are doing, I totally agree that prevention is better than cure. Even in playing also, we should be always care. Though in life we should take the risk, there's no question that we should not take the risk. But at the same time, we should be careful in life. Better to be careful than to feel sorry. So even we should, from young age only, we should teach children that they should be careful. And though we should take the risk in life, but of course prevention is better. But at the same time, we should try new things also in life. That is my policy. Keep on learning and take the risk also in life. Thank you. Over to you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Let's all have a good round of applause. I think it was wonderful of you to ask for a topic and then speak on it. If I have to quickly, because we've been discussing what to do, what not to. I think the one difference, if I may suggest one sort of an area of improvement, adding a personal story, ma'am. You did talk about how it's always good, how you believe in the fact that we need to try new things. But if you could have spoken about an experience where you did take some sort of a prevention of a particular activity and it saved you from getting into something worse, I think that would have added more weight. That's the only thing. And I suggest to everyone, whenever it's a topic and we have to speak impromptu, always try and add a personal example. Because there is nothing better than a personal story to vouch for the fact that this is true. I hope that helps, ma'am.
Yeah, that's good. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Reshmi, ma'am.
On the spot, half second or 1 minute, 1 second, we get to think, and we have to tell whatever we know with examples and if people can learn with this. So I got idea that before telling anything, we should observe, and we should make our speech in table topic or either speech. We should collect the contents and make the structure of the speech. So today I have learned this. So it's very fruitful for me. Thank you, Sanjay sir. It was very good.
In fact,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
In fact, Ram Babu sir and everyone else, you'll be very happy to know after later